Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I haven't turned a vase for a while, so I've had this piece of silver birch kicking around the workshop for quite a while, and I think it's time I did something with it. I'm not quite sure what the grain's going to be like under here. If it's fantastic, I'll leave it as it is. If it's not, then we'll look to embellish it in some way. So stay tuned and find out how it comes out. Right, well, it's balanced better than I can ever hope for. It's going to be an interesting turning because my banjo won't fit any further under than this, so I'm going to have to, start working at this end and then move across so I can get it somewhere I can start shaping it. Right, wish me luck. Why do I do these things? Okay, things are progressing nicely. Right, next step is to take care of a couple of cracks we've got. We've got one there, which is the major one we need to worry about, and a smaller one here. The base, it was originally going to be around here, but I've had to use longer screws than I would normally do. I would normally have done on this. So the base is going to be around here, but I still want to do something with that crack, just in case it gets any worse. So the next step is to clean the gap out a bit more than it is on the inside and the outside, and then we'll put resin into it. Right, let's get started. I'm going to put it onto the inside of the worst crack first, then put tape over the top and then turn it round, so hopefully gravity will keep it against the inside of the wall. Then we'll fill it from this top end and then tape it again and finally take care of this last little one. Let's apply a little bit of heat to this resin, just to, it just helps make it a little bit thinner, so it should run into the gap a little bit easier for a better fill. This is 5-minute epoxy, so it'll dry nice and quickly, so I'll be able to check on it fairly soon, but I'm not going to attempt to turn on it until tomorrow. Right, the cracks are filled nicely. I added a bit extra last night just to a couple of areas where it was sinking below the surface a bit. So let's start cleaning these up. Next step is some serious sanding. Got a lot of bits to sort out. You can watch a bit of it, but then I'll turn the videos off because this is going to take me quite a while. Right, I've been sanding for about an hour. I'm up to about 180. So it's now for the next stage to start some embellishment. First thing I'm going to do is I put a bit of gilder's cream into these burrs I've ground in. Now just lightly with the 180 grit, I'm just going to sand over the surface. Hopefully the gold will stay within the pores that we've created. I'm going to give it a clean now, a bit of isopropyl. This will give us an idea of what colour the wood will go with a bit of finish on it, depending obviously on what finish we use. So this will determine whether or not we go for a colour on top of this. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand up the inside to about 400, something like that, and then put a finish on the inside and see how that looks. Just give it a couple of seconds for the isopropyl to evaporate. Right, my wife's been in and suggests I leave it woody. Now, if I was a sensible person, I would just say, yes dear, you're quite right as ever, and stay woody. But I'm not sensible. I'd like to see some colour on this. It is going to be subtle. Okay, let's hope I don't get into too much trouble. Oh, she'll never notice. I'm going to get my lunch. We'll see how this looks when I get back. Okay, it's dried nicely. So I'm going to send this back up to about 600. And then we'll put some finish on it. Nearly there. As you can see, that a lot of the colours come out. I'm up to 800 grit at the moment, so I'm just putting a bit of isopropyl in just to raise the fibres a little bit. I want to give it another quick colouring, and then we'll finish it off. Okay, that's had long enough to dry. I just took a couple of minutes just to tidy up the base, ready for parting off. So I'm just going to go on with a bit of Yorkshire grit now. I'll do it on the outside and the inside. We'll let that dry, and then we'll put the finish on. It's been quite an interesting experiment, this. I've never done a vase quite this big on a lathe this small before. If it wasn't for the Hope hollowing tool, I don't think it'd have coped very well. This tool, made by Hope Woodturning, I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but it really helped cut through that end grain when I was hollowing it out. It's designed for pieces an awful lot smaller than this, but it was still controllable at the bottom. Right, okay, let's get this finished and see how it looks. This should darken it a bit more. Okay, so a few minutes to sit on. It's been quite interesting. You know where the colour's taken more into these kind of, were the whiter stripes originally. The oil that I put on, the oil and shellac mix, it's just, these areas seem so dry. So it's going to need a few coats of this just to nourish that wood, because it's obviously been lacking something. Okay, we'll see how that coat sits. Okay, I'm going to give this a rub and a buff now and see what I've got left underneath. Okay, right, I was going to put a wax on the top just to help protect it. I think that's about as good as we can get it. Right, I'll pop this off and I'll bring you back in a second or two to have a closer look at it. Right. There we have it. An end grain birch log turned into a vase. Some spalting, some colouring, a bit of resin, and a bit of gold embellishing. We've even got a few burls in there as well. Well, this is by far the deepest thing I've ever hollowed out on this lathe. Thanks very much to that Hope Woodturning tool. I'll put a link to it in the description afterwards if you want to have a look at it. It's not expensive and it works very well. There's a larger version available if you do a lot of deeper turning. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you could like and subscribe, I'd be very grateful. If you leave a comment as well, then you'll be entered into a competition for a bowl when we get to 1,000 subscribers, and we are getting close. Right, well, thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you next time.